Hello, I'm Jane Kelly and I'm the midwife of the soul. And a very important part of any work I do with anyone, and a very important part of our lives, I believe, as we awaken as women and as we step into our power, is the ability to create sacred space. So that's what I want to talk about this morning. Just how we do it, what it might entail, what it might include, how it could work for you. And some of you are probably already really old hands at this and don't need all of this. And some of you will find some little magical things that you didn't know before. So just receive this as a gift and take the parts that are meaningful for you, the parts that are going to help you in your practice, in deepening your own connection to the divine, to the goddess, and throw the rest away. So let's have a bit of fun this morning. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was cleansing the space. And I touched on this very briefly for those of you who are watching this as part of my my ritual, my free ritual on my website. You'll know that I talked about cleansing the space. So energetically, a room picks up vibrations. It picks up our emotions, picks up other people's emotions. And sometimes certain areas of the room can get stuck. You know, if there's a lot of clutter and a lot of stuff in a room, it can feel quite heavy. So the first thing is creating sacred space. And I would suggest first having a really good clear out of whatever that space may be, even if it's just a small corner. And then energetically clearing it, cleaning it, literally cleaning the air, the vibration. And I like to open the window when I'm doing this, and I like to set an intention. I've talked about intentions before. I like to set an intention that anything that's no longer needed in that space is taken and recycled out of the window and taken by nature and transformed into something else. So I allow the intention of that flow to be in the room as I work. And then what I like to do is I have smudge. So this is my little pot of sage, and you can get these in any kind of new age shops. Some health food shops sell them. So it's just a bundle of sage that's been tied together. There's different sorts, so you can choose the one that works best for you, the one that you like most. And you simply light it, allow the smoke to smoke. And then you can either just walk around the room with the sage, or if you've got a feather or something similar, I actually made this one. I've got a lovely little bell on it too, which I like to think someone's the fairies. So I made this one myself, which is very special. Again, you can buy these in most shops. But if you've got a feather, there's even more power, because you can really flick it and waft it into the very corners of the room. So often that you can feel, using your intuition, where you need to go. So really trust it, trust your intuition. And there may be parts of the room where you feel like you need to be ages, and then other parts that you can literally pass by, and that's absolutely fine. You may feel the need to go under things, also absolutely fine. So clear the room, use the smoke, use the power of your intention to cleanse that space and prepare it for the sacred. And once you've done that, you may also wish to cleanse yourself in a similar way. And if you don't like sage, or you've got really sensitive smoke alarms, I have been known to set ours off, then you could use a spritz, a room spray, something with a really lovely vibration. There's some really lovely orchid sprays around. There's some really nice sort of chakra sprays, whatever you like. But again, the power of that intention is what's important. So holding that intention and clearing that space. And once you've cleared the space and cleared yourself, you may then want to put on something that makes you instantly feel more connected to the divine. And for me, it's this shawl. This has been with me on my Moon Mother training, on my ceremonial training. It's been with me whenever I've held a ceremony. It's been with me for many, many womb blessings. And it feels like it's absorbed all of that amazing feminine energy, all of that magic. So when I put this on, I instantly feel closer to the divine. So this is my special thing. You may have your own, and if you don't, maybe set an intention to find one. And that could be fun too. Maybe create something that feels really good for you. So we have the space, we have you cleansed and ready and possibly wearing something that instantly connects you. And the next thing is the altar. And I personally like to use the 5 elements. And if you already have a way of creating an altar that you love, go for it. Use that. Use what feels good for you. But if you don't, then you might like to use the 5 elements. It's something that I personally find really grounding and connecting. So we have basically the quadrants of north, east, south, and west, and then the center. And it's a really good practice to know where those directions are. It's really interesting how few of us actually know where the directions are in our own homes, because there's something about knowing where you are in time and space that helps to ground us. So that would be my first challenge. If you don't know, get a compass or watch the sun and find north, east, south, and west in your home, in your sacred space. Sorry, getting a bit croaky here. So find the directions. And again, this is all in the ritual. It's all in the document. So if you're listening to this as part of that sequence, you know what I'm talking about. If you're listening to this and you're not part of that sequence, then just pop over to my website and sign up for the free rituals, the free Date with the Divine ritual, and you will find it. So firstly, we have Earth in the north. And just choose something that connects you to Earth. It may be nature. It's wonderful to go out in nature and find something that just feels special to you, something of beauty. For me, I have this little elephant. He's my Earth, and he was given to me by a friend who loves to remind me that I can go slowly. And I can let my big elephant feet really sink down into the earth. Grounding is something I've learned over many years. So for me, the elephant is really meaningful. He may be small, but he's very powerful. So he lives pretty permanently on my altar. And he is my earth in the north. And earth is about grounding. It's about Mother Nature. It's about whatever feels like earth to you. It's your bones. It's the solidity. It's the mother. It's the holding. So earth in the north. And then we have air in the east. And again, what feels like air? It might be incense. It might be a feather. Again, this is my feather is air to me. I love it when I find the white feathers when I'm out walking my dog. And tuning into the energy of air, the energy of our breath, of communication. What I'm doing right now, this is air. It's reaching you through the air, through the ether. And then we have fire in the south. And again, for me, I'm trying to find it. Yes, this is my fire. This is very special to me. I dug the clay with my hands from the beach at Findhorn. And this was representative of the fire in my heart, the sacred fire in my heart. And I actually fired it in a physical fire in a wonderful earth lodge under the earth. So I was held in the earth. This was burnt in the fire. So this represents my fire. But for you, it might be a candle, and it might change. You know, all these objects from time to time, I need something different, and then I can rearrange my altar. So don't think your altar is something that's set in stone. Think of it as something playful, something always moving, and something that's there to support you. So fire in the south, and then we have water in the west. And I love right now, I'm really tuning into water, to the flow of water, to the power of water that we underestimate so often. And for me, the little jug that I bought in New Zealand many years ago when I went traveling on my own. So she's been with me a long time, and she holds the water. So we have the 4 elements set out in the 4 corners, in the 4 directions, and then at the center is spirit. And for me, that spirit at the center, that's my connection to all things. And it's wonderful for me and for many of us to use a bowl. So I have this beautiful crystal bowl that I use that just feels delicious and that creates the space for spirit. So you can do your altar however you like. Just make it personal to you, make it feel like it's holding you, make it feel like it has meaning, it has deep meaning for you. And if you want to use the elements, I'd really encourage you to use the elements. It's been a transformational thing for me to tune into the elements around me and in myself and the energy of those. So give that a go, and I'd love to hear from you if you have experiences with that, if you've not used it before. So we have our altar, we have ourselves, we have our space. We're ready to really create this sacred space. And the next step in that, when I work with you and when I do my own personal practice, is to literally call in the elements. So the ones I've just talked you through, the earth in the north, the air in the east, the fire in the south, the water in the west, and spirit at the center of all things, we can call them in. So I literally will go through each one and say out loud, earth in the north, welcome. And in my personal practice, I then usually just feel into what that feels like in my body on that day. If I'm holding space for someone, I'll encourage them to share words, to actually talk to earth, or allow earth to speak through them, or to make sound. We might make some guttural sound around that, whatever feels right. But you can do that yourself, so you can do it out loud or silently. Each one in turn, just call them in, welcome them into that space, and feel energetically the support that brings you, because it's magical. And enjoy that. And once you've done that, you may feel that that's enough, especially if you're creating this ritual on your own, if you're just doing it just for yourself. But some brave souls among you may well have decided to share it with a friend or a group of friends even, which would be so wonderfully warming to my heart to know that some of you are doing that. And then you might like to do something else just to bring the energy of the group together and to bring the elements into the energy of the group. So we get this real alchemy, this real mixing of energies and magic, and create this sacred container for this ritual. So I've got, you can see my drum in the corner there. Drumming is a wonderful way to open the circle and begin that ceremony, that ritual. Chanting is another way, and chanting doesn't need to be musical. Chanting can just be making a noise and allowing those sounds that we make to merge and to dance with each other. Dancing is another way, a piece of music, some movement, some expression, but doing that whilst being aware of the group and aware of the elements and aware that we're creating sacred space. So the intention throughout everything is creating sacred space. So if we keep coming back to that intention, then everything we do is perfect. Anything we do is perfect. And once that group energy, if you're choosing to invite that in, comes, I can feel it now. I can feel the stillness. The stillness is there, ready for you to connect. And that is where I'm going to leave you for today. I am going to be doing an audio quite soon, which will be a guided relaxation meditation for that actual ritual, for this still part of it, which you can play when you do it if you want to, or you can listen to beforehand and then just facilitate yourself through it, whatever works best for you. But for now, I just want you to really focus on those elements of creating sacred space. So the cleansing of the room, of the space, yourself, what makes you feel connected and magical, the ritual of creating the altar that actually is a ritual in itself. So creating those, finding those magical objects, creating that altar, calling in the elements, maybe some singing, some drumming, some chanting, some dancing, whatever feels really delicious in pulling the group energy together. And then sitting in the stillness, ready for wisdom, ready for her, for the goddess, for your truest, highest self to come. And I am really, really looking forward to meeting her. Thank you.